Hi everyone, I wanted to share a little project that I've been working on. This is actually a scarf, and I was struggling to find a pattern for two colors um, that, where you couldn't see um, the yarn that you carry from row to row as easily, so really making a very obvious front and back. This is called the ZickZack scarf, and the design is by Christy Ham. It is free on Ravelry, so I encourage you not just to watch this video, but actually go show her some love and download her design. It's ZickZack, one word, scarf. And it has this kind of cool end to it, which I really like. It's kind of pointy. It's not scalloped. They're pretty, they're 90-degree angles down there. But I just think that it's kind of fun to work on, and I like that. So the front, you can obviously see the pattern, or the two different colors there in the pattern. The back looks a little bit different, but it still looks really cool. So I think that you wouldn't have to keep adjusting it to make sure that one way is up or whatnot. And that's what I really wanted to do with this two-color scarf. The way that she does it, it's many more colors, and so I encourage you to look at it just to see what your options are. But it's a really, really simple thing. All you need to know is obviously how to cast on, cast off, knit, knit two together, and then knit front and back to create a stitch. So I cast on, let me set this aside, over here just to kind of go through the start of it. And don't be afraid by how small this looks to start on. It will grow quite a bit. So we were going to start off cast on in sets of 12. You can edit that, but this is what the pattern calls for, and is pretty cool. But we'll go through, and we'll kind of go through like a 14 or maybe a 16 to see what your different options are. So I have my stitch markers, I have my yarn, and then I have my piece. Oh, I do want to say that the kind of purple and mauve-y colors I was using was Big Liberty Wool from classiceliteyarns.com, but I got them from a yarn store in Mamaroneck, New York. Shout out to the Knit Shop. They're wonderful in there if you want to go and check it out. So let's start here with our pattern, and I wrote it here on a sticky note so that you all could see. So we're casting on in sets of 12. We're going to start by knitting. Sorry, I don't know how to best do that. So we're start by knitting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I wish you could see my little filming get up, because I'm just using my phone and it's kind of blocking my vision. Knit 2 together, and we're going to knit 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Next is a knit front and back. Knit front, knit back. If you don't know how to knit front and back, there's some tutorials online as well, obviously, and I'll do this a couple more times so you can see it in greater detail. But it's a pretty easy stitch. So we're going to knit another 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to knit 2 together through the back. Going to knit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to knit front and back. So, anyway, back up. So to do that, I go through the front of the loop like I would do a normal knit, but instead of pulling the yarn off of my left needle, I'm going to switch this needle to the back and actually go through that hole again, if you can see it that way, and then yarn over, and then pull my stitch off. All right, so it doesn't look pointy, it doesn't look like the other scarf I showed you, but it will in a couple of rows. So we're just going to do that same thing going back the other way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Knit through the back the next 2 without splitting our yarn. So that's my 6th. 7 is a knit, 8 is a knit, 9 is a knit, 10 is a knit, and then our knit front and back. So as you can see, we're decreasing 1 stitch on the first 6, and then we're increasing on the second. So we will always end up with 12 in our set. 1, knit 1, knit 2, knit 3, knit 4, knit 5. Oops. On our 6th, we're going to knit through the back, knit 2 together through the back. 7 knit, 8 knit, 9 knit, 10 knit, and then we're going to knit through the front and the back. I know it still does not quite look like what I showed you, but it will get there. You have to trust the process. So next we're going to choose a second color yarn. Navigating with multiple skeins of yarn can be tricky. What I sometimes do is, oops, don't want to make you sick there. I get like a little Ziploc baggie and I put each ball in its own Ziploc baggie just to kind of differentiate, and so they don't roll everywhere. And I know this color is kind of dark, but I hope it shows up. So we don't want too much of a tail, but at least something to weave in. Now, I don't really tie any knots or anything when I'm joining my yarns. At the end of a project, I will go back and finish them off when I weave it in. Just be careful as you're doing this, because you don't want to pull like your tail through. You want to make sure you don't knit with your tail. Words to live by. And you can see here the end is still pretty loose, so don't yank it too hard. Once you get a couple of stitches in there, then you can tighten it up. All right, so we are going to knit 5. I've already done 1. So let's just do 3 to start, and then let's give our yarns a little tug to tighten that up. From there on out, you really shouldn't have to worry about it too much. So we've done 3. We're going to do 4, 5. Knit 2 together through the back without splitting our yarn. Okay. This will loosen up a little bit as you get going. 7 is a knit, 8 is a knit, 9 is a knit, 10 is a knit, and then 11 is knit front and back. All right. So let's do that again. We're going to knit 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to knit 2 together. There you are. Knit 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to knit front and back. Knit front, knit back. All right. Let's do one more pass on that. I usually roll this up into balls, but I did not do that this time. All right, so knit 5, so that's 2, 3, 4, 5. Knit 2 together through the back. And I know this gray is a little hard to see. I would move this towel, but my table is glass, so you would just see my feet down there. What was I on? What did I just do? Oh, I knit 2 together. So I'm going to knit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, knit front and back. And if you have split your yarn, like you'll feel that it's just not pulling through right. So go back and try it again. So 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to knit 2 together through the back. Oh, see, that didn't feel right, so I had to fix it. There we go. Knit 2 together, knit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then remember this, this is the first stitch that we had, so it's a little loosey-goosey right now, but you could pull and tighten that up a little bit. I mean, don't yank it to Kingdom Come, but you don't want it slipping off. So knit front and back. All right. Give those a little pull. And you can see that it is starting to come together. It's not going to take its full pointy shape until you get a few more rows on there. And again, this is the project that or the colors that I was working on. I think this would be really pretty if you had one solid and one variegated, maybe. Just some kind of tricks of the trade here. So whenever you change colors, it's always going to be where both of your yarns are on the same side. So you can see here they're on different sides. So I have my darker one, my lighter one. I have to take my lighter one back to here, and then I will start using the darker color. Why don't we actually do that really quickly? This will take an extra minute because I have 36 on this one instead of 24, but that's okay. And sorry if I'm making anyone seasick. This mount I have, if I look at it wrong, it starts bouncing, but I'll fix that for future videos. So I'm going to do 2, 3, 4, 5. And I don't know what it is with my brain. I often miscount those first 5 and I accidentally do 4, but you will notice it pretty quickly when you get to do your what is supposed to be your last stitch, which is the knit through the front and back, and you have the wrong number of stitches. So. All right, so knit front, knit back, move our stitch marker, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. For some reason, I count this in 2. Oopsies. Did you see what I did wrong? I knit the 6th when I was supposed to knit them together because I'm talking. So I count this for some reason in 6s. So I do my first 6 and then I do my second. So I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For you, it may work better to count all the way to 12, that you know on the 6th stitch you do the knit 2 together, and then when you're at 11 you're fine, but you do need to do the front and back, which gives you your 12th stitch. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right. So we're going to turn our work. Sorry, that's all bunched up there. So we're looking at the front again. And when you're switching colors, all you do is, so the darker ones towards the back, I bring it up to the outside here, there, of the stitch that's on the needle, and it creates this really nice, I don't know if you can see, border to it. What I noticed is that I was kind of pulling the hell out of this bottom stitch, which made the scarf start to pull kind of like a half moon shape that way. So these were too tight. So just keep an eye on that. I think, so this is 100% wool, so with blocking I think that I can kind of block that out. But if I were to do it again, I would just be more conscientious about not pulling so hard over there. So I'm going to do a couple stitches here, and then I don't want to beat a dead horse about this. All right, so I have my darker one. I'm bringing it to the outside, and then I just do my knits. 3, 4, 5. All right, so you can, I mean, you can give it a little bit of a tug, but not too much. Yeah, just to avoid that kind of curvature of it. So I hope that you like this video. I hope that it was helpful for you. Oh, one more thing. I was going to show you how to edit this pattern. So that is 12. So, and this is kind of what it would look like. This is a worsted weight. I think I'm using 5.5 millimeter needles, and 3 repeats of it gives you about 7 or 8 inches, which is quite nice. But what you could do is, let's say you wanted this to be 14 stitches. So up here you can see this adds together to 6, this adds together to 6, because you have your 5, knit 2 together, that's 6 stitches. You have your 4, and then on your 5th stitch you're creating 1, so that makes 6. So if you're doing 14, let's say, so we want a total of 7, okay? So we know that we have to knit 2 together. We know that we have to knit front and back. So this would become, oopsies, knit 6. This would become knit 5. So let's say you want to do 16. You could do, so sorry if the math backwards doesn't work for people, but it's just how my brain works. So you want a total of 16. We know that we knit 2 together. We know that we knit front and back. So for here you would do knit 7, because 8 minus 1, because you're losing a stitch here, you need 7. And then over here, this would be knit 5, because you get 2 stitches out of there, and then 8, wait, no, that's not right. You want knit 6. Good thing I did the math and double checked. So this is 2 stitches, 8 minus 2 is 6. So like I was saying, this is my first video, so sorry if it was a little bit rough, but I'm not going to edit it too much because me messing up math is real and it happens. Anyways, I hope you like this video. I hope that you share it, you leave some comments or questions for me, and if there's any stitches out there that you're interested in tackling, let me know and I'll see if I can do a video on it. All right, thanks.